Yakshimash, don't count him out just yet. Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight GOAT, returns against John Jones very soon. It's interesting to see how he's going to approach this fight, but here are three very simple tactics he used throughout his GOATed heavyweight reign that you can start to implement in the gym because they're very simple. Stipe Miocic was a very meat and potatoes fighter, and still is, generally going on his 1-2 and good footwork. So here's three strategies you can use. It'll increase your success in sparring and in your fights. I'm Cage Warriors lightweight champion George Hardwick, 13-2 professional MMA fighter, degree in sports science, and what else? You know I make those brilliant buttermilk pancakes. Anyway, strategy number one, we're talking about footwork. So Stipe, often, most times in his fight, he's in this closed stance situation. He's orthodox, his opponent's orthodox. So what he tends to do is, as he's on the back foot, he won't back up on a straight line, he'll back off to the right, circling away from their power hand. And as he's on the front foot, he'll step towards the left to line up his backhand. So there's advantages to this. If he backed off this way, he's moving towards the leg kick and he's moving towards their right hand, obviously. But as he moves this way, he can keep his weight loaded on his right leg and fire his right hand really quickly and really dangerously at any point, getting this angle where he's likely going to hit across the side of the chin, so he doesn't need loads of power to knock someone out. Obviously, the best example of this is when he won the belt against Fabricio Verdum. He's backing off. He'll keep his right hand a little bit lower and fire that right hand. No wind-up because the heavyweight, it's 4-ounce gloves, and he'll often get people running into it. He'll do a lot of damage. Next thing as well is when he's using that front foot, he'll use that jab just to occupy their lead hand, get them parrying, get them blocking. He'll move from the lead hand line to the backhand, make this gangway for the right hand to go through the middle of the guard into the chin, where he squared up their shoulders, kind of like he did against Junior Dos Santos, or he'll arc it over the shoulder if they're a bit taller. So on the front foot, he's generally moving to the left to close the distance. On the back foot, he's moving to the right to make that distance longer and line up his right hand, generally against another orthodox fighter. The second strategy, especially when he's moved this way, is framing off with the left hand, and he uses different types of frames. Now, Stipe, he has a really good left body shot, and I'm sure he has a really good left hook, but generally he's known for doing the damage with his right hand. So once he gets this angle and he's using the right hand, bang, bang, he's not just throwing it and falling into clinch, throwing it and falling into clinch. He'll use this left arm to manipulate people. So he gets here, he gets this angle to throw the right hand. He's going to double or triple it up, but he did it in the second and third fight, particularly the third fight with Cormier really well. Boom, frames off with here, and it depends how close they are. If they're close and they're pushing in, boom, he drops this elbow really low so they can't get underneath. He's framing on the side of the neck. This elbow low prevents the underhook, and it prevents him changing level underneath and grabbing body locks, and he can push away and land that right hand again. If he's landed that right hand and they're stepping back, he'll go boom, and then he'll reach, push here onto the side of the head, blind their vision, which could be a risk why he eye pokes people sometimes, and then throw that right hand again. So you can either get in this angle, throw the right hand, frame there and throw it again, or you throw that right hand, frame on the side of the neck with a long arm. Generally here is more defensive, it's preventing the clinch. Here is more offensive, he's off-balancing people so he can throw that right hand again. And he will double it up. Best example I can think of this isn't actually Stipe Miocic. Best example I can think of is in the rematch of Akihiro Kaneko versus Masahiko Suzuki. Akihiro Kaneko getting his revenge, knocks him down, lands 4 right straights in a row. He's bang, frame, bang, grabs a hand, bang, lands like 4 right straights in a row to drop Masahiko Suzuki. And the third tactic is how does he get off the line if he does throw that backhand and miss, or if it lands but it's not that clean. If he's throwing himself too far over with this right hand, he needs to be able to get out, use his feet to get out. He might not want to come all the way back with a left hook, especially if that's not a shot he's known for. It's risky trading these big left hooks with the other heavyweights, especially if he's leaning this way. There's a lot more time. He comes to his back foot and he might get clipped on that movement. So he'll either use a pivot or a dart. So he jabs, boom, boom, hits the right hand. We've seen him use the pivot. So he takes his foot slightly out. He takes his head slightly out to the side, using this hand just as a bit of insurance against a potential high kick. Boom, takes that pivot, and he gets on the side. Obviously, when you pivot, you've got to have strong legs. You've got to have lively legs. You can't just step, drag around. You got to pivot with a nice explosive, almost like a little hip switch. Boom, boom, boom. And then he can fire in with his right hand again. The more he can put his right hand into combinations, the better. It's almost like classic Arlovsky. And he will also use the dart occasionally, Eddie Alvarez style. If this foot's shifted, boom, here, almost ends up into southpaw, he'll push off. Sometimes he uses that, especially if he's really aggressing, throws the right straight, his back foot's come, he'll just step out like that. So there's three strategies here for Stipe Miocic. He might use them against Jon Jones. He might just get oblique kicked once and his knee might explode. Who knows? I'm not most excited for this fight. Maybe you are. If you want more martial arts content, more MMA content, subscribe. I got a Patreon. Code hard 10 at RevGear. Yeah, come train with us.